Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of hidden treasures as we explore the top 4 ultra-rare and most valuable Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel coins that collectors and investors are always searching for. These small 5-cent coins may look ordinary, but certain rare dates, mint marks, and minting errors have made some Jefferson nickels worth thousands, tens of thousands, and even more. So before you spend that old nickel, make sure to watch until the end because you might be holding a valuable hidden treasure. Alright everyone, let's get started. First up, the 1964 Monticello 5-cent coin without a mint mark in circulated condition. At first glance, this classic Jefferson nickel may appear to be an ordinary 5-cent coin that has spent decades passing quietly through countless hands. Yet experienced collectors understand that some of the most remarkable stories in numismatics begin with coins that seem completely ordinary. This 1964 Jefferson nickel has survived generations of circulation, witnessed changing times, and preserved a remarkable piece of American history that continues to attract collectors throughout the world. The Jefferson nickel, also known as the Monticello 5-cent coin, first entered circulation in 1938. It was introduced to replace the famous Buffalo nickel and immediately became one of the most recognizable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Featuring a dignified portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his beautiful Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse, the design quickly earned admiration for its elegant simplicity and timeless appearance. For decades, these nickels faithfully served millions of Americans while becoming one of the most collected coin series in United States history. Because this particular coin carries no mint mark beside Monticello on the reverse, it was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint. Every 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark began its remarkable journey there with brilliant surfaces, sharply defined details, and beautiful mint luster. Freshly released into circulation, each coin followed a completely unique path across America. Some traveled only a few miles, while others crossed the nation through thousands of everyday transactions. Every surviving example tells a story unlike any other. The year 1964 was an unforgettable period in American history. It was a time of change, progress, determination, and expanding opportunities. Communities continued growing, businesses flourished, families worked toward brighter futures, and millions of Jefferson nickels quietly entered circulation. Although most people paid little attention to the coins in their pockets, these small nickels silently became witnesses to countless ordinary moments that together formed the foundation of everyday American life. A circulated example of the 1964 Jefferson nickel possesses a unique character that many collectors deeply appreciate. Unlike coins preserved immediately after leaving the mint, circulated examples completed the purpose for which they were originally created. They purchased groceries, newspapers, candy, bus fares, school lunches, and countless everyday necessities. Every softly worn surface and every tiny mark reflects years of honest service, giving the coin an authenticity that untouched examples simply cannot duplicate. Imagine where this remarkable nickel may have traveled throughout its incredible lifetime. It could have rested inside the pocket of a factory worker beginning another busy morning, accompanied a child buying a favorite snack after school, been exchanged at a neighborhood grocery store, or traveled inside the wallet of a family enjoying a summer vacation. It may have visited countless cities, crossed numerous state lines, and quietly participated in thousands of ordinary transactions that together created its fascinating history. One of the greatest joys of collecting Jefferson nickels comes from realizing that every circulated coin has quietly connected countless people across generations. This 1964 nickel may have passed through the hands of parents, grandparents, teachers, shopkeepers, mechanics, students, and travelers. Every exchange added another unforgettable chapter to its remarkable story while connecting lives that never realized they shared the same little coin. The obverse proudly displays Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Even after decades of circulation, his portrait often preserves much of its original dignity and artistic beauty. Collectors continue admiring the thoughtful expression, balanced proportions, and timeless elegance that have made the Jefferson nickel one of America's most enduring coin designs. Turning the coin over reveals the famous image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. This magnificent building symbolizes architecture, history, education, and the remarkable legacy left by one of America's greatest leaders. Even in circulated condition, collectors appreciate the graceful lines, detailed engraving, and balanced composition that have made this reverse one of the finest in American coinage. Collectors especially admire circulated Jefferson Nickels because every surviving coin develops its own individual personality through years of honest use. Every softly rounded edge, every naturally worn surface, and every small contact mark reflects another memorable chapter in the coin's incredible journey. No two circulated nickels have traveled exactly the same path, making every surviving example a unique historical artifact. Every 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark followed a different adventure after leaving the Philadelphia Mint. Some remained inside busy cities where they changed hands many times every single day. Others circulated through quiet farming communities, suburban neighborhoods, or small-town businesses. Some entered collections early, while others continued serving the public for decades before finally being preserved by collectors who recognized their historical significance. Holding a 1964 Jefferson nickel today creates an immediate connection to another generation. It reminds us of a time before smartphones, computers, digital payments, online shopping, and streaming entertainment transformed daily life forever. During those years, nickels played an essential role in everyday commerce, making this coin a genuine witness to thousands of ordinary yet meaningful moments throughout American history. Next up, the 2001 Monticello 5-cent coin with the P Mint mark in beautiful, very fine condition. At first glance, this nickel may appear to be an ordinary 5-cent coin that has quietly traveled through everyday life. But experienced collectors understand that even the most common-looking coins can hide remarkable stories and surprising collector interest. Every scratch, every carefully preserved detail, and every sign of honest circulation reflects years of history, making this 2001 P. Jefferson nickel much more than simple pocket change. It is a lasting reminder that every coin carries a journey worth discovering. The Jefferson nickel, officially known as the Monticello 5-cent coin, first entered circulation in 1938. It replaced the famous Buffalo nickel and introduced an entirely new design that honored Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and one of the nation's founding fathers. From the moment it was released, collectors admired its balanced appearance, elegant portrait, and the beautiful image of Monticello on the reverse. Through generations of circulation, this design has remained one of the most recognizable and longest-running coin series in American history. The P Mint mark tells us that this particular coin was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most respected minting facilities in the United States. Every 2001 P. Jefferson nickel began its life with brilliant surfaces, sharply defined details, and impressive mint quality. Freshly produced, each coin entered circulation ready to serve millions of Americans in their daily lives. Although every coin began in the same place, each one followed a completely different path, making every surviving example truly unique. The year 2001 marked an important chapter in modern American history. It was a time filled with technological progress, growing communities, and rapidly changing lifestyles. Throughout cities and small towns alike, millions of Jefferson nickels quietly entered circulation. These coins traveled through restaurants, grocery stores, schools, shopping centers, banks, gas stations, and countless local businesses. While people rarely gave them a second glance, these small nickels silently became witnesses to everyday moments that together formed part of the nation's story. A 2001 P. Jefferson nickel preserved in very fine condition offers collectors an outstanding balance between beauty and authenticity. Unlike heavily worn examples, a very fine coin retains much of its original design while still showing gentle evidence of honest circulation. Jefferson's portrait remains clear and attractive, the lettering is crisp, and Monticello continues displaying impressive architectural detail. This combination of preservation and history makes very fine examples especially appealing to collectors. Imagine the remarkable journey this nickel may have experienced over the years. It could have rested inside the wallet of a college student, traveled across several states with a family on vacation, or been exchanged during everyday shopping trips at neighborhood stores. Perhaps it purchased a morning newspaper, helped pay for a bus ride, or became part of a child's first coin collection. Every transaction added another unforgettable page to the remarkable story this coin continues carrying today. One of the greatest joys of coin collecting comes from realizing that every circulated coin has quietly connected countless people from different generations and different walks of life. This 2001 P. Jefferson nickel may have been held by teachers, shopkeepers, mechanics, travelers, students, parents, and grandparents. Although none of them imagined the coin would someday be admired by collectors, every exchange added another chapter to its remarkable history. The obverse proudly features Thomas Jefferson, whose thoughtful portrait has remained one of the most recognizable images in American coinage for generations. Even after years of circulation, a very fine example preserves much of the outstanding craftsmanship originally created by the engraver. Jefferson's calm expression symbolizes intelligence, leadership, vision, and dedication to the ideals upon which the nation was built. Turning the coin over reveals the beautiful image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. This elegant building has appeared on the reverse of the Jefferson nickel for decades and remains one of the most admired architectural designs ever featured on an American coin. Even in very fine condition after years of circulation, Monticello continues displaying impressive detail that reminds collectors of the remarkable artistry involved in creating this classic design. Collectors especially appreciate very fine Jefferson nickels because they preserve outstanding design elements, while honestly reflecting years of careful circulation. Every gently worn edge, every tiny surface mark, and every softly polished high point tells part of the coin's remarkable journey. These natural characteristics cannot be artificially recreated, giving each surviving example its own unique personality. Every 2001 Jefferson nickel with the P Mint mark followed its own individual adventure after leaving the Philadelphia Mint. Some remained inside busy cities where they changed hands dozens of times each week. Others circulated through quiet suburban neighborhoods or rural communities where life moved more slowly. Some entered collections early in their lives, while others continued faithfully serving the public for many years before finally being preserved. Holding a 2001 Jefferson nickel today creates an immediate connection to the beginning of a new century. It reminds us of a time when cash remained the primary method of payment for many everyday purchases, before smartphones, digital wallets, and contactless payments became common. During those years, nickels continued playing an important role in daily commerce, making this coin a genuine witness to countless ordinary moments. Many families unknowingly saved Jefferson nickels inside dresser drawers, kitchen jars, coffee cans, old purses, piggy banks, and family coin albums. Years later, these forgotten coins often become treasured keepsakes passed from grandparents to children and grandchildren. Next up, the remarkable 2000 Monticello 5-cent coin with the P Mint mark in excellent condition. At first glance, this nickel may seem like an ordinary 5-cent coin that has quietly existed in circulation for years. But experienced collectors know that every coin has a unique story waiting to be uncovered. From the moment this coin left the mint until the day it found its way into a collector's hands, it has experienced a journey unlike any other. Every detail preserved on its surface reflects history, craftsmanship, and the passage of time, making this Jefferson nickel a fascinating piece of modern American coinage. The Monticello 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel, first appeared in 1938 and immediately became one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. Created to replace the famous Buffalo nickel, the new design honored Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third President of the United States. His distinguished portrait on the front and the image of his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse formed a timeless combination that has remained popular with collectors for generations. Even after decades of production, the Jefferson nickel continues to hold an important place in American numismatic history. The P Mint mark identifies this coin as having been struck at the famous Philadelphia Mint. Every 2000 P Jefferson nickel began its life with brilliant luster, crisp design details, and carefully prepared surfaces before entering circulation. Although millions of coins were produced, No two surviving examples have experienced exactly the same journey. Every individual coin traveled its own path through cities, neighborhoods, businesses, and families, quietly participating in everyday life while gradually developing its own unique character. The year 2000 was a milestone around the world as people celebrated the beginning of a new millennium. Excitement filled communities as technology advanced rapidly, and a new century officially began. Throughout this historic period, millions of Jefferson Nickels quietly entered circulation and became part of daily commerce. They helped people purchase groceries, newspapers, bus fares, school supplies, snacks, and countless everyday necessities while silently becoming witnesses to history in the making. A 2000p Jefferson nickel preserved in excellent condition represents an outstanding combination of beauty and preservation. Unlike heavily circulated examples, an excellent condition coin retains much of its original appearance while still showing gentle evidence of careful handling. Jefferson's portrait remains attractive, much of the lettering remains sharp, and Monticello continues displaying impressive architectural detail. This level of preservation allows collectors to appreciate both the artistic design and the remarkable journey the coin has experienced. Imagine where this nickel may have traveled throughout its remarkable lifetime. It may have rested inside the pocket of a college student attending classes, accompanied a family during a memorable vacation, been exchanged at a neighborhood grocery store, or traveled through airports, restaurants, shopping malls, and local businesses. It may have crossed several states before finally finding its place inside a coin collection where its remarkable history could finally be appreciated. One of the greatest pleasures of collecting coins comes from realizing that every circulated piece has quietly connected countless people whose lives briefly crossed through ordinary transactions. This 2000p Jefferson nickel may have passed through the hands of teachers, mechanics, shopkeepers, doctors, travelers, students, parents, and grandparents. Although none of those individuals realized it, each transaction became another unforgettable chapter in the remarkable story carried by this small 5-cent coin. The obverse proudly displays Thomas Jefferson, whose thoughtful portrait has remained one of the most recognizable images in American coinage for generations. Even in excellent condition after years of careful circulation, the design preserves much of the remarkable artistry originally created by the engraver. Jefferson's calm expression continues symbolizing intelligence, leadership, vision, and dedication to the ideals that helped shape the United States. Turning the coin over reveals the magnificent image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. This elegant building has remained the centerpiece of the Jefferson nickel for decades because it represents not only architectural beauty but also one of the nation's most important historical landmarks. Even after years of circulation, excellent condition examples continue displaying much of the intricate detail that collectors enjoy examining closely. Collectors especially admire Jefferson nickels preserved in excellent condition because they combine attractive remaining detail with the authentic signs of real circulation. Every softly rounded edge, every tiny surface mark, and every gently polished high point tells part of the coin's remarkable journey. These characteristics create individuality that no newly minted coin can ever possess. Every 2000 Jefferson nickel with the P Mint mark followed its own unique adventure after leaving the Philadelphia Mint. Some remained inside major cities where they changed hands many times every day, while others circulated quietly through small towns and rural communities. Some entered collections early, while others continued serving the public for many years before finally being preserved. Every surviving coin therefore carries its own completely unique story. Holding a 2000 Jefferson nickel today creates an immediate connection to the beginning of a brand new century. It reminds us of a period before smartphones became universal, before contactless payments replaced coins in many situations, and before online shopping completely transformed consumer habits. During those years, nickels continued playing an important role in everyday commerce across the nation. Next up, the 1995 Monticello 5-cent coin with the P Mint mark in circulated condition. At first glance, this nickel may seem like an ordinary 5-cent coin that has spent years passing from one hand to another during everyday transactions. However, experienced collectors know that some of the greatest stories in numismatics begin with coins that most people overlook. Every small scratch, every gently worn edge, and every remaining detail tells a story of decades spent serving millions of Americans, making this Jefferson nickel a remarkable survivor of modern history. The Monticello 5-cent coin, better known as the Jefferson nickel, has remained one of the most familiar coins in the United States since its introduction in 1938. Designed to replace the famous Buffalo nickel, this new design honored Thomas Jefferson, one of the nation's most influential founding fathers. His portrait on the front and the beautiful image of Monticello on the reverse created a timeless design admired by generations of collectors. Even after decades of continuous production, the Jefferson nickel continues to represent tradition, history, and outstanding American craftsmanship. The P Mint mark beneath the date tells us this coin was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest minting facilities in the United States. Every 1995 P Jefferson nickel left the mint with brilliant surfaces, sharp lettering, and crisp design details. Fresh from production, each coin entered circulation with its own unique future waiting to unfold. Although millions of these nickels were struck, every surviving coin experienced a completely different journey, making each one unique in its own way. The year 1995 was an exciting time in American history. Technology continued advancing rapidly, businesses expanded, communities grew, and daily life was changing in many ways. Throughout the country, millions of Jefferson nickels quietly entered circulation and became part of everyday commerce. These coins purchased groceries, newspapers, bus fares, snacks, drinks, school supplies, and countless other necessities while silently witnessing thousands of ordinary moments that together became part of the nation's history. A circulated example of the 1995 P. Jefferson nickel carries a special kind of beauty that many collectors truly appreciate. Unlike coins preserved immediately after leaving the mint, circulated examples fulfilled the purpose for which they were created. They served the public faithfully for years, moving through countless transactions while gradually developing the gentle signs of honest wear that give every coin its own personality. These marks are not flaws but reminders of a remarkable lifetime spent in circulation. Imagine where this nickel may have traveled during its fascinating journey. It may have rested inside the pocket of a student walking home from school, traveled with a family during a cross-country vacation, or been exchanged at neighborhood grocery stores, restaurants, movie theaters, gas stations, shopping malls, and local businesses. Every person who briefly owned this coin unknowingly added another page to its remarkable history. One of the greatest rewards of coin collecting is realizing that every circulated coin quietly connects countless people whose lives briefly crossed through simple everyday transactions. This 1995 P. Jefferson nickel may have been held by teachers, mechanics, business owners, travelers, parents, grandparents, cashiers, and children. None of them imagined that decades later this same nickel would become a fascinating collectible admired by enthusiasts around the world. The obverse proudly displays Thomas Jefferson, whose portrait has remained one of the most recognizable images in American coinage for generations. Even after years of circulation, much of the original artistry often remains visible. Jefferson's thoughtful expression continues symbolizing intelligence, leadership, vision, and dedication to the principles that shaped the United States. Collectors continue appreciating the timeless beauty of this classic design. Turning the coin over reveals the magnificent image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. This beautiful architectural landmark has appeared on the reverse of the Jefferson nickel for decades because it represents not only Jefferson's legacy but also one of America's greatest historical treasures. Even circulated examples continue displaying much of the elegant detail that makes this reverse design one of the finest in American coinage. Collectors especially enjoy circulated Jefferson nickels because every surviving example develops its own unique personality through years of honest use. Every softly worn edge, every tiny contact mark, and every naturally aged surface reflects another chapter in the coin's remarkable journey. No two circulated nickels have experienced exactly the same path, making every surviving example a truly individual historical artifact. Every 1995 Jefferson nickel with the P Mint mark followed its own completely unique adventure after leaving the Philadelphia Mint. Some remained inside large cities where they changed hands many times each day, while others traveled through quiet rural communities where life moved at a slower pace. Some entered collections relatively early, while others continued faithfully serving the public for decades before finally being preserved. Holding a 1995 Jefferson Nickel today creates a remarkable connection to another era. It reminds us of a time before smartphones dominated communication, before digital wallets became common, and before online shopping transformed the way people purchased everyday items. During those years, nickels remained an essential part of daily commerce, making this coin a genuine witness to countless ordinary moments throughout American life. Many families unknowingly preserve Jefferson nickels inside piggy banks, dresser drawers, kitchen jars, coffee cans, old purses, and family coin albums. Years later, these forgotten coins often become treasured heirlooms passed from grandparents to children and grandchildren. Their sentimental importance frequently becomes just as valuable as their collectible appeal because they preserve family memories alongside history. Coin collecting is about much more than searching for valuable dates or rare varieties.